Friends, welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is Python tutorial series for absolute beginners. In today's episode, we are going to learn all the numeric and number manipulations, different types of numbers that we can use. In the earlier episode, in the data types, I shared with you the list of data types that we can use in Python, which included integers, float, complex. Today, as part of this particular episode, learning numeric numbers, I'm going to show you all the three data types. Let's get started. Before we kickstart coding, as always, I would like to thank you for your continuous support to me and my channel. Please do continue to like, comment and share on the videos. If you are preparing for a full stack interview series, make sure to get your interview series book to crack it. You can get it at arctutorials.gumroad.com. As always, if you like my work and tutorials, please do consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/arctutorials. This is episode number 6. Today we are learning numbers. Let's get started. Alright, so in Python, I showed you in the data types when we explained you, there are different types like integers, decimal or floating point number and complex numbers. Now these are the three main types of numeric data. Integer means whole numbers, no decimals. Floating point or decimal point is when you have 3.14, right? Anything after that point. Complex numbers with real and imaginary parts like 2 plus 3j, etc. etc. Immutable, that means once they are created, their values cannot be changed. Okay, you can do arithmetic operators like addition, multiplication, division, all of that on the numbers. Okay, you can also even convert different types easily using built-in methods. Now let's go ahead and learn that. Okay, and also let's do one thing. Before we start coding, I hope you are following the previous episodes, so that because we have done the setup of PyCharm editor and I hope you are following it. Alright, let's get started with the numbers. Or I'll leave it here and I'm going to create a new file for you and I'm going to call it numeric.py. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll create simple variable, let's say num underscore int equal to 10. What I'm doing is I'm defining a variable. Variable is nothing but a temporary placeholder for value. Okay, this is the name of the variable on the left side. Equal to means you're assigning the value 10 to this variable. Okay, so the way to read this is it's a variable by the name num underscore int, or you can give any name you want, and assigning a value to it, which is on the right hand side. Alright, so this is integer. Now how do you use, let's do a simple print that we learned earlier. So here I'm going to say salary, and then now we want to print it, so we can just say and save it and run it, and you can see it says salary is, let's say salary is, save, run, and salary is 10. That's the output. Okay, because it's an integer. Now same way, let's do a float. Let's say tax equal to, let's say 33.5. This is a floating point number or decimal, and you can say tax is printing tax. Okay, now I'm hitting tab in order to get that auto completion. If you want, you can also do that in this editor. So now you can see salary is 10 and tax is 33.5. What you're seeing underline is nothing but that's from Grammarly AI tool that I use. So don't worry about it. That's not an error in the code. It's from the typography, which is it should be uppercase, the first one. That's what it says. Alright, so run it, and now you see salary is 10 and tax is 33. Okay, now same way you can use complex. So for complex, I'm going to say salary underscore tax, or you can give any name to it, that doesn't matter. I wanted to type take home salary. Okay, alright, so what you will do is we'll assign a value to it. Okay, and you can do some kind of manipulations on it or stuff like that, whatever you want to add. Let's say you want to add 3 plus 4j, and we can do the same. Salary tax is salary underscore tax, which is a complex type, and it would print it. Okay, again, this will not add the values. Remember that complex will not add the value. It will just output it for you. Okay, and these are the three base main type of I would say data types that you will deal with. Okay, output I showed you, this will be the same output, it will not change, it will always be this one, it will not do addition. Now if you want to do addition, let's say you have multiple values here, salary and say city. Let's say I'm just trying to, instead of city, let's say allowance equal to 5. Okay, so now I have two. If you want to print them, you can say total salary in city, and you can do the addition here, which is salary plus allowance, and you can run it now, and you can see total salary in the city is 15. So basically you are adding addition, you are adding an integer with an integer. Now let's say total salary with tax. So now what I'll do is I'll add tax to it. So now this is adding, if you see here, it is 33.5 plus 10, so it is showing 43.5, which is adding of integer and decimal or floating point. Same way you can do division, you can do multiplication and all of that, whatever. I'll cover the arithmetic part all of it as well later. So you can see here it is showing 50 because we are doing 10 into 5. Now we were doing addition, we were doing subtraction. If you want, you can do division if you want. Okay, so you can see 2.0, that's the division. But if you want the round, you can do modulo and you can run it and it will show 0. That's the remainder. Okay, not the actual value. When you divide, you see 2.0. When you use module, you would see the remainder, which is 0 basically in this case. Alright, so these are all the number thing that you would do in Python. You have integers, you have float or decimal points, and you have complex, right? Now the thing with, now let me also quickly show you how to do type changing. Okay, this is integer, this is, I'm adding some comments that what we learned in the previous one. So this is complex data type, and here we are doing arithmetic operations like addition, multiplication and division. Okay, you can do subtraction, all of that, whatever maths thing you want to do. All right, so this is arithmetic operations like all of that. Now again, I don't know how to disable the Grammarly in this particular tool, but I'll figure that out later. Okay, so let's also do the typecasting, which is when you want to change an integer to float and you want to change float to integer, right? So those operations that you can easily do. So the best way and the simplest way to do is when you add whatever value you want to add, right? You can just type say type of salary. So it will tell you what type it is. If you, during runtime, we will have to get the type in most cases, right? If you're working on some serious projects, you will have to check the type of that particular variable. So when you type salary, you're seeing integer. Now same way, if I copy this and do it for float, it will give me float value. So let's say I copy this and I say allowance, or say tax, it's tax. Okay, and now run it, it shows float. Okay, now same way we do it for salary underscore tax, and it will show us that it is complex. Okay, so that way you can check what data type it is. Now you want to convert an integer into say float, right? So that's pretty simple, right? All you need to do is just do float or int in front of it. So let's say I'm going to use the method float, and I'm saying convert salary into a float. So see, now if I run, it will say 10.0 because it converted it into a float. converted int into float here using float. Now the opposite of that is also true. I can use int and use tax, and now this will convert float or decimal into an integer. So if I run this now, you can see it shows 33, whereas our value was 33.5, right? So this is typecasting basically, where you're changing the type, which is this was integer, this was float, this was complex. So you're converting using these methods, which is int, float. These are built-in methods, so you can use to convert alternatively, whether you want to convert something into float, something into int, and all of that. Okay. Now you can also do the same using complex. Now you can take some value and convert it into complex also. I hope everything I've covered with numbers is clear, because this is the most fundamental basic, especially when you do operations and all of that. Okay. So remember 3 things: integer, float, and complex. These are the 3 different types of numbers or numeric data. You can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division on them. You can check the data type using type. You can convert each other into by using int or float or complex. Okay, I hope this is clear, and this is all you need to know about numbers. In the next episode, I'm going to start covering about strings. Another very useful, without these are, I would say, the building blocks or the fundamentals that everybody should be aware, without which you will not be able to code in Python. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you. I hope you're enjoying. Please do give me a like, share and subscribe these videos. If you like my work and tutorials, please do consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/rtutorials. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.